and me, so I cry.
How does someone go from winning American Idol in front of millions to nearly dying in a car that flipped multiple times into a marsh, only to walk away and become a psychology professor? Candice Glover. Born November 22, 1989, in Beaufort, South Carolina, American Idol Season 12 winner, the girl with the powerhouse voice who beat out everyone, then seemingly vanished from the spotlight. But she didn't vanish. She survived something that should have killed her and everyone in that car. And what is she doing now? Nobody expected it, because Candice Glover didn't just win a singing competition, she won her life back twice. Let's start with the moment that changed everything. November 20, 2023, 2 days before Candace's birthday. She's driving with the girls, road trip vibes, good spirits, weekend plans. Then it started raining, and Candace hates driving in the rain, but she's a good driver. She's got this. Until she doesn't. They're nearing traffic, 3 lanes, moving fast. And then her biggest fear happens. The car starts to hydroplane, sliding, out of control. She's screaming, but there's nothing she can do. A calmness comes over her. She braces for whatever's coming. And what comes next is every driver's nightmare. From the middle of 3 lanes, the car slides and spins across to the left, hits the grass, flips multiple times, lands upside down in a marshy area filled with water. Hands still on the wheel, water started to fill the car, and then a man appears out of nowhere, reaches into the car. You have to get out, it's smoking. With his help and Heather's help, they get out. Paramedics arrive, and this is where it gets terrifying. The paramedics looked at the car, looked at Candace and her friends, and said they were certain that by the looks of it, they would have been pulling at least one body out of that car. At least one, maybe all of them. They all should have been fighting to stay alive, but they crawled out. Every single one, bruised, sore, terrified, but alive. And here's the detail that makes this even more gut-wrenching. Candace's little puppy, Prince, was in that car, soaking wet from the watery marsh, traumatized, but alive. Every single one of them walked away from a car that looked like it went through a compactor. The photos don't lie. That car was total, destroyed. The kind of wreck where you expect body bags, not survivors. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, because to understand why Candace surviving that crash is significant, you need to understand who Candace Glover was before that night and where she came from. Beaufort, South Carolina, November 22, 1989. Candace Glover was born in a small town where big dreams were considered unrealistic. The kind of place where singing in church was fine, but singing on national television? That's not for small town girls. But Candace had a voice, not just a good voice, a powerhouse. The kind of voice that stops conversations mid-sentence, the kind that makes grown adults cry in church. And she knew it. She knew she was meant for something bigger than Beaufort. But how do you get out of a small town when you don't have connections, when you don't have industry parents, when you're just a girl with a dream and a voice? American Idol. That was the ticket.
If you want to be a singer, you want to be well known with your craft, get online and just put yourself out there. You never know who might tap into to whatever it is that you want to do.
And in 2013, Candace decided to take it. But here's what nobody talks about. This wasn't her first time auditioning. She had tried before, failed, and came back. Because that's what people with real talent do.
You know, 3 times, the first 2 times, I really didn't know who I was. I was just going because I could sing. At the moment that I decided that I didn't care what anybody thought, that's when things started to work out.
They don't give up. They come back stronger. American Idol Season 12. The year was 2013. The judges were Mariah Carey, Nicki Minaj, Keith Urban, and Randy Jackson. And the drama between Mariah and Nicki was almost bigger than the competition itself. But Candace wasn't there for the drama. She was there to sing, and she did. Week after week, Candace delivered. powerhouse vocals, soul, emotion, the kind of performances that reminded people why they fell in love with American Idol in the first place.
Love is my favorite thing to sing about ever, like ever. And I did a lot of that on American Idol.
And on May 16, 2013, Candice Glover was crowned the winner of American Idol Season 12, the first female winner in 3 years. The girl from Beaufort, South Carolina had done it, beat everyone. Millions of people watched her win, and her life was about to change forever. Or so everyone thought. Because here's what happens to most American Idol winners. They release an album, it does okay, maybe they get a hit single, and then they fade. Kelly Clarkson, exception. Carrie Underwood, exception. But most winners, they disappear into the where are they now files. And for a minute, it looked like Candice might be heading that way too. In October 2013, just months after winning, Candice released her debut album, Music Speaks. And critically, it was praised. She had the vocals.
Cried is the only song on my album that is emotionally, that heartbreaking.
The production was solid. Soul and R&B that showcased her powerhouse voice.
Right now, who am I listening to? I'm a big fan. Everybody went crazy over the whole Beyonce surprise album.
Yes.
I listened to a lot of Jhené Aiko.
Okay.
But commercially, it struggled. The album debuted at number 14 on the Billboard 200.
When you kiss me like you diss me.
Not bad, but not the explosive success that American Idol winners are supposed to have. The single I Am Beautiful got some traction.
And he says I am beautiful and wonderful.
But it wasn't a smash hit. It wasn't Since You've Been Gone. It wasn't Before He Cheats. And in an industry that moves fast, if you're not an immediate success, you get left behind. But Candice didn't stop. She couldn't, because music wasn't just what she did, it was who she was.
I will always love you.
So what did Candice do when the album didn't explode? She pivoted. She went to Broadway. Yes, Broadway. Because Candice Glover wasn't just a singer. She was a performer. And Broadway recognizes talent. She performed in productions.
Performing is my favorite thing ever to do. And so after I put out my album and did Broadway for a little while, I got to work with Hallmark on a few Christmas movies actually.
Got her Broadway credentials, toured. And while she wasn't dominating the Billboard charts, she was working consistently. She also started performing overseas. And this is where Candice found her lane. Because while America might have moved on to the next season of American Idol, overseas, audiences still loved powerhouse vocalists. They still appreciated soul and R&B. So Candice traveled.
Gosh, well, it's been a while since I got off the show, but my life has changed so much. I perform all the time, mostly overseas.
Performed internationally, built a loyal fan base, made a living doing what she loved. Not a superstar, but a working artist. And sometimes that's better. That's sustainable. But then something unexpected happened. In 2014, Hallmark came calling. And they didn't just want her to perform at a Christmas event, they wanted her in a movie, North Pole.
Europe, I went to Vienna to do the Life Ball event. I'm going to be in a movie. It'll be on the Hallmark Channel. November 15th, it's called North Pole with Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
A Christmas film about a reporter trying to save Christmas by restoring the world's belief in Santa Claus and the holiday season. In Candice, she played Josephine, not a background role, a real character. And she didn't just act, she sang 2 songs for the film. Think about that.
It was so weird because I've never done an actual movie. I've done plays at my church and at school and stuff, but I've never done actual acting. So
1 year after winning American Idol, while her album was underperforming, Candice Glover was starring in a Hallmark Christmas movie, acting, singing, building a different kind of career. Because North Pole wasn't a one-off. It opened the door to more Hallmark work, more Christmas movies, more opportunities that had nothing to do with Billboard charts or radio play. And this is where Candice's story becomes different from other American Idol winners. She didn't wait for the music industry to validate her. She found work in film, on Broadway, overseas. She built her career on her own terms. But she was also building something else, something nobody expected. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Because while Candice was performing overseas, doing Broadway, and filming Hallmark movies, she was also working on something completely different. Something nobody expected from an American Idol winner. She went to SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design, and she didn't go for music. She went for dramatic writing for film and TV. Yes, Candice Glover, the singer, the American Idol winner, was writing. And not just writing, she wrote a sitcom. And that sitcom won an Emmy. An Emmy. Candice Glover is an Emmy-winning writer, and most people don't even know it. An Emmy-winning sitcom writer, a Broadway performer, an international touring artist, a Hallmark Christmas movie actress who sang 2 original songs, and oh, by the way, she was just getting started. And then she did something even more unexpected. She became a teacher. Well, not just a teacher, SCAD's music director. The same school where she got her degree, she's now mentoring the next generation of performers, teaching them performance etiquette, guiding them, helping them avoid the mistakes she made. And according to her, she loves it.
First of all, SCAD is just a great place for artists to go and just, develop their craft. And I actually graduated from SCAD as well.
So by 2023, Candace had built a full life. Not the life people expected for an American Idol winner, but a rich life. Performing, teaching, writing, working on Christmas movies. She had her band, the Candy Band, a 6-piece ensemble that played Motown, R&B, and pop hits at weddings and corporate events. Not stadiums, but consistent work, real work. And she was happy, or at least she seemed to be, until November 20, 2023. Let's go back to that car, because this is where Candace's story becomes about more than just career pivots and Emmy Awards. This is where it becomes about survival, about purpose, about why we're all here. November 20, 2023. Her birthday is in 2 days. She's planned a road trip with her girls, Heather, Rachel, Amanda, and Prince the puppy. They set out Thursday night. Good vibes. Then rain. Then hydroplaning. Then the crash. Multiple flips. Upside down in a marsh. Water filling the car. That mysterious man who appeared out of nowhere to help them get out. The paramedics saying they expected to pull bodies. But everyone walked out, bruised, terrified, but alive. And Candace wrote about it on Facebook, November 20, 2023. And her words are haunting. We survived this. This is something I still can't believe, and I'm not gonna forget for the rest of my life. God had his hands on that car that night. We lost a lot in that car, and we're all sore and bruised, but we walked away with our lives. She thanked the hospital staff at Halifax Health Hospital, thanked them for their hospitality, for being attentive and patient, for being big fans of Prince the puppy, and letting them stay the night with stretchers, blankets, pillows, and graham crackers. She thanked her friends for going through it with her, for being bonded for life now. And then she said this, "My birthday is this Wednesday, and the best gift I could get was being alive and well." Read that again. The best gift was being alive, because it wasn't guaranteed. Paramedics expected at least 1 body, maybe all of them. The car was destroyed, unrecognizable, but they walked out, every single one. Now here's where it gets interesting, because after surviving something like that, most people would take time off, rest, recover, process the trauma, but not Candace. Within days, she was back to work, back to preparing for SCAD's Holiday Spectacular show, back to mentoring students, back to performing. Because that's who Candice Glover is, a survivor, a fighter, someone who doesn't let setbacks stop her, not even near-death ones. But that crash changed something in her. You can hear it when she talks now. There's a weight, a purpose. She's not just performing anymore. She's living intentionally. And part of that intention involves something most people don't know about: her pursuit of higher education in psychology and counseling. Yes, Candice Glover is pursuing a master's degree in psychology and counseling. Her goal? To open her own practice, to use her talents and her platform to help people, specifically with mental health. Because Candice understands something that a lot of performers understand. The entertainment industry is brutal on mental health. And if she can use her experience, her education, and her empathy to help others, that's the purpose. That's bigger than any album sales or chart positions. Let's talk about money. Because for an American Idol winner who pivoted to teaching, writing, and overseas performances, Candice Glover's net worth might surprise you. As of 2025, Candice Glover's estimated net worth sits at approximately $1 million to $3 million. So what's Candice Glover doing in 2025? Let's get specific. She's still SCAD's music director, still mentoring students, still running the Candy Band and performing at weddings, corporate events, and holiday shows.
Winner of American Idol Season 12, Candice Glover!
I'm about to give you all my money.
Still working on her master's degree in psychology and counseling, still processing the trauma of surviving a crash that paramedics said should have killed at least one person in that car. Relationship status? She keeps that private. But based on her social media, she's focused on her work, her students, her band, and her education. The crash seems to have shifted her priorities: family, purpose, mental health, helping others. That's where her energy is now.
If you want to be a singer, you want to be well known with your craft, get online and just put yourself out there.
Currently, Candice is still performing. The Candy Band plays Motown, R&B, and pop hits. She brings Broadway credentials and world touring experience to every performance. She's still working with SCAD, still pursuing her psychology degree, still processing November 2023, the day she almost died, the day everyone in that car almost died, the day that changed everything. And she's still making Christmas content, still working with Hallmark when opportunities come up.
I got to work with Hallmark on a few Christmas movies, actually. So I just love the holidays, as you can tell.
North Pole opened that door in 2014, and she's walked through it multiple times since. Still performing holiday shows every year with students and Broadway stars like Michael James Scott and Casey Levy. Still showing up, because that's what Candice does. She shows up. From that small-town girl in Beaufort who dreamed of something bigger, to the American Idol winner who beat everyone in 2013, to the actress who played Josephine in North Pole, to the near-death survivor who walked away from a totaled car in 2023. Candice Glover didn't disappear. She evolved. She built a life that wasn't about fame. It was about purpose, about helping others, about showing up, about surviving. And she's not done yet. The master's degree is coming. The practice will open. More students will be mentored. More performances will happen. More lives will be changed. Because Candice Glover survived for a reason. And she's spending the rest of her life figuring out what that reason is. One student at a time, one performance at a time, one therapy session at a time, one day at a time. So what happened to the American Idol winner from 2013? She survived death, found purpose, became a teacher, won an Emmy, starred in North Pole, and she's just getting started.